The Curse of the Pharaohs is one of the most famous and mysterious legends in modern history, associated with the tomb of Tutankhamun, the young Egyptian king whose nearly intact burial site was discovered in 1922. The tale of a deadly curse began shortly after the tomb was opened, capturing the imagination of the public and media worldwide. While science has largely dismissed the idea of a real supernatural curse, the deaths and illnesses that followed the tomb's discovery have kept the legend alive for over a century. Tutankhamun, often referred to as King Tut, ascended to the throne at a young age and died mysteriously around the age of 18 or 19 in the 14th century BCE. His reign was relatively unremarkable in life, but his tomb became the most famous archaeological discovery in the world. When British archaeologist Howard Carter, backed by Lord George Herbert Carnarvon, located the tomb in the Valley of the Kings, it created a sensation. The discovery was unparalleled, filled with treasures, chariots, golden statues, jewelry, and the now iconic golden death mask. The tomb, sealed and undisturbed for more than 3,000 years, offered a unique glimpse into Egypt's ancient world. But not long after the tomb was opened, rumors began to circulate about a curse. The death of Lord Carnarvon just months later seemed to confirm the fears. Carnarvon died in Cairo from complications following a mosquito bite that turned septic. On the very night he died, the lights in Cairo reportedly flickered and went out. At the same time, his dog in England supposedly let out a howl and dropped dead. These eerie coincidences became front-page news, and soon the idea that a curse had been unleashed took root in the public's mind. More incidents followed. George J. Gould, an American railroad magnate who visited the tomb, died of a fever shortly afterward. Sir Archibald Douglas Reed, the radiologist who x-rayed King Tut's mummy before it was unwrapped, died of a mysterious illness. Aubrey Herbert, Carnarvon's half-brother, who may have had a genetic blood disorder, also died within months of the tomb opening. A sea mace, a member of Carter's team, died in 1928 of arsenic poisoning, possibly self-administered in suicide after a long illness. Each of these deaths was added to the growing list of victims of the curse. The media and popular authors of the time greatly contributed to the myth. The writer, Marie Corelli, published a warning before Carnarvon's death, claiming that anyone who violated a royal tomb would face dire consequences. Newspapers sensationalized every connection, real or fabricated, between the tomb and mysterious deaths. One of the most influential voices was that of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, creator of Sherlock Holmes, who publicly suggested that Carnarvon had been killed by elementals guarding the tomb. Despite the drama, many skeptics pushed back against the idea of a curse. The facts didn't fully support the myth. For instance, Howard Carter, who had spent the most time inside the tomb, lived until 1939, 17 years after the discovery. Dozens of other workers, archaeologists, and officials involved in the excavation lived long and healthy lives. A 2002 epidemiological study published in the British Medical Journal analyzed the lifespans of those present at the opening of the tomb and found no significant difference in life expectancy compared to a control group. So, if not a curse, what else could explain the deaths? One scientific theory involves fungal spores and bacteria that could have thrived inside the tomb over centuries. When the tomb was sealed, it became a perfect environment for mold and microorganisms. Upon opening, these ancient biohazards could have been inhaled by unsuspecting visitors. For example, Aspergillus flavus produces a toxin that can be deadly, particularly to those with weakened immune systems. Stachybotrys cartarum, commonly known as black mold, has been implicated in respiratory issues. Although no autopsies or biological sampling from that time conclusively proved the presence of such toxins, modern science agrees that these natural elements are more likely to explain health problems than any supernatural force. In addition to molds, other dangerous elements could have been present in the tomb, including ammonia, formaldehyde, or hydrogen sulfide gases, which can build up in sealed environments over millennia. Breathing in even small quantities of these gases could cause dizziness, respiratory distress, or in rare cases, death. Some toxicologists suggest that a single exposure might not be lethal, but repeated exposure, especially in a weakened state, could prove fatal. Another explanation is psychosomatic illness. The power of belief is strong. Those who thought they were cursed may have experienced real symptoms due to stress and fear. This phenomenon, sometimes called the nocebo effect, is the dark twin of the placebo effect. If someone believes they are doomed or cursed, their body may physically manifest symptoms of illness, especially in an age where medicine had limited tools to address chronic stress or anxiety. Moreover, the cultural context of the 1920s played a major role. The world was obsessed with ancient Egypt. This was the age of Egyptomania, where everything Egyptian was fashionable, mysterious, and romanticized. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb occurred shortly after World War I, a time when death and mystery still hung heavy in the air. It's no wonder the idea of an ancient curse took hold. People were ready to believe in something mystical, otherworldly, and dramatic. To this day, the tomb of Tutankhamun continues to fascinate. The items found in the tomb have toured the world, and the young pharaoh has become the most recognized figure of ancient Egypt. The supposed curse has been featured in books, films, and documentaries. Yet despite all the legends, modern scholars, historians, and scientists largely agree there was no curse, only coincidence, science misunderstood, and stories amplified by sensational journalism. Still, the myth remains powerful. It reminds us that the line between science and superstition is often blurred, especially when human imagination fills the gaps in our understanding. The curse of the pharaohs may not have been real, but its story has endured far longer than many scientific facts. Perhaps because, deep down, humans love a good mystery, especially when it involves ancient kings, buried treasure, and the possibility that some things are better left undisturbed.